How is it going, you lovely lot? Welcome back to Tokyo Rising. It's the end of season number 8, and today we have a cup final that I've not yet played in, the Emperor's Cup. Yes, this is a competition that over the last few years we've got far in. We've never got this far. Of course, in 2027, as a J2 side at the time, we got to the final and we lost to Vissel Kobe 3-2. The very next year, we ran it back and we lost again to Vissel Kobe. This time it was a little bit closer. Sadly, the last few years, let's be honest, this competition hasn't been able to be a priority until this year now, because having beaten Cerezo Osaka since you were last here 3-1, a result that I'll admit, whilst it looks comfy in terms of stats and scoreline, it definitely wasn't in terms of when the goals came. But with this result in the bag, we are going to be taking on Urawa Red Diamonds, one of the big teams in Japanese football, one of the better supporter teams as well. They have a pretty crazy stadium, but today we're not doing an away day because we're back at the National Stadium. The season started here, and now the season ends here too. Just the one game today, but we will be doing an end of season wrap up, and of course, I'm going to talk all about how the J1 season finished. Spoilers: we won the league. We already kind of knew this was happening. That's what you can expect today. Let's run the intro and get straight into things. I can't remember if I mentioned it in the intro or not. I believe today is episode number 65 of this series, and like I've already mentioned, it is the conclusion of an 8th season here, as we enter season 9, still of course in the Champions League. Now, last episode, of course, we won 5-0 and 8-3 fairly emphatically in the Asian Champions League. Following on from that, as I already mentioned, we had the Emperor's Cup semi-final to play. We won that game, and then we had the J-League Cup Prime final. This match here was against Jubilo. It was nice to play in this cup final. It's kind of the smaller of the two Japanese domestic competitions, and with all the other competitions that we have going on at the moment, this hasn't exactly been the highest priority, but given the depth our squad has, given the firepower we have going forward, we were able to win this game. I want to say fairly comfortably. 3 goals up, it felt comfortable. It then actually went to 3-1, and then we had a sending off, and with about 20 minutes left, there was a small part of me that maybe started to panic, especially when they scored a penalty to make it 3-2. That Muenta goal there was the first of 2 he'd get in this game. That made it 3-2 in the 89th minute. Our highlight began, but good news for us, it was a goal for us. Unconvincing defending, Kadono with the all-important header that definitely just eased the nerves a little bit. When that highlight started in the 94th minute, slight panic set in. Following on from that, we had 6 league games to end the year. The most notable was a win against Yokohama FC, 7-0. This game finished. Sasaki with a hat-trick, Miyake with a brace too. Really, really good goal-scoring performance. Doing this all without Taba as well. Ever since he's announced he's leaving on a free, I'm just kicking him out of the team ruthlessly. And as you can see here, actually on the club home screen, those last 5 league games of the year, 4-0, 4-0, 7-0, 4-1, 3-1. That Vissel Kobe win is a really, really good one in its own right. And in the end, we ended up finishing at the top of the pile on 95 points. 18 points clear of the next highest team, which incidentally is our opposition today. So we have got to be up against it when it comes to Urawa Reds. We've got to be ready and raring to go. The silver lining I'm going to look to find with me playing them is the fact that when I met them earlier on in the year, we beat them 3-1. And of course, much earlier on in the year, we did also beat them 5-0. So if we can repeat that, I mean, it'd be good from a selfish personal point of view. In terms of the content, probably don't want a 5-0 today. And if you were getting a bit irked by the sidebar having a little red notification with 2 bids, it's 2 bids for Taba. I turned down the opportunity to sell Taba for £4 million at the start of this year. I decided to keep him around. He's announced he's leaving on a free transfer in, well, 13 months' time. I have a decision to make, and that decision is he worth selling? Do I just hold on to him for what's left of his contract, or do I just look to get a bit of money? The reality is, I don't really need the money. I feel like if I'm going to sell him, I don't necessarily want to be selling him to a league rival. Kashima Antlers and Vissel Kobe are the only teams that have made bids so far. I'm going to reject them both. If a team in Saudi Arabia want to turn up, then we'll talk. Now, Taba isn't available for selection today, and neither is Kadono, both players on international duty with Japan. Kadono, by the way, got his first cap for Japan and got his first goal. So a really, really cool moment for the 19-year-old. Didn't really expect him to get a goal on his international debut as a more defensive midfielder player for us. Elsewhere, Nemo is sadly injured for this game, as is Della Corte, and not that he'd play, but Junpei Noda has also got injured lately. What it does mean, though, is as we head into this Urawa Reds game, there's going to be pressure on the strike force that really has been delivering to end the year. I think a truly astonishing thing this year is the fact we've got 5 players with at least 20 goals, and yet none of them have above 30. We have rotated things so much in the final third throughout this year, really to get the most out of the players. Ironically, Honda, who's actually on the bench today, is our top goal scorer. He's our top goal scorer, but I do feel like of all my striking options, simply put, he's just not really the best. When I look at the players on offer here, when I look at Miyake with his aerial ability, the 20-year-old really has burst onto the scene with his Asian Champions League performances. When I look at Kibe, who's shown some really good potential, had been developing a little bit lately. Of course, now I've clicked on his profile, there's red arrows, but he's been in a really good vein of form to end the year. And similarly, with Sasaki in some pretty decent form as well. You can see a hat-trick a few games ago, another good performance where he got 2 goals against Albirex. Basically, there's none of these players I want to drop. So Honda's the top goal scorer. He's not even going to feature in the team today. I mentioned Kadono is out for today's game on international duty. That does mean that Sora Nakamura is going to get recalled to the first team. He is currently unhappy and he wants a new deal to reflect his ability, which is annoying because he probably is worth a new deal, but I just don't want to give him it yet. Della Corte at left back is also injured, although when is he not injured? What it does mean is Harao, who's played 19 games as a starter and 18 on off the bench this year, is going to be our starting left-back option. This is a very good team that I'm hoping is going to win this final game of the year. I feel like I can't end this save game unless I win the Emperor's Cup at the very least. In terms of domestic Japanese silverware, we've now won everything except the Emperor's Cup. It's our first time in the final. Of course, we've already won the League Cup earlier on this year. We lost twice in the semi-finals of this competition a few years ago, dreaming of winning it as an underdog. And I think for this game here, we very much go into it as the favourites against Urawa Reds. They are going to be playing a kind of asymmetric centre defensive mid setup of a 4-2-3-1. So nothing too radical there. Maybe got to keep a little eye on their 3-man midfield. If that starts to overrun us in the centre, that might be a cause for concern. One thing I am going to do right away, though, because they're playing with 1 striker, is I'm actually going to put in transition, distribute it to the centre-backs. There should always be 1 centre-back free to receive the ball, at the very least. And I'll kind of want to use that as we look to build the play out from the back. Okay, free kick 15 minutes into this game. It's been a quiet opening. Could Kibe change things here? He pulls the trigger. It hits the woodwork, and Manga can't keep his header down. 20 minutes played. You know what? I used to get shouty. I've come to Japan and I've become an encourager. And look at the green, happy, smiley faces. All the players are absolutely delighted. Of course, we are going to press high up the pitch, as we always do, and try and force a turnover just like this. Yamazaki, Kamiyama, in behind, to Sasaki. He's onside. It's going to count. It's 1-0. What a lovely goal that was. Look, I'll fully accept that is completely self-inflicted from them playing it out from the back and giving us the ball. But actually, the way in which the ball was passed around here was nice. Kamiyama's ball to the back post, a super intelligent one, and Sasaki was never going to miss from there. Coming up to 5 minutes left of this first half. Hasn't been a classic, but we're ahead and we've kept them quiet, crucially. Saying all of that, Nakamura on a booking isn't exactly ideal. I'm going to keep faith in him to be well behaved, just as we get one last chance to end the half. Miyake, the Japanese Peter Crouch, headers against the woodwork, and that is going to be that for the break here. It is 1-0. We've been all over them. But I am going to tell the players I'm not happy. A couple of players have lost confidence. Look, we can do better than this. We can do better. Keep going. I mean, the thing is, these guys play well. You're playing brilliantly. Okay, we've confused... I feel like I've messed things up there. We've only confused Yamazaki, and Sasaki's happy, but now other players are unhappy. You know, I could say more. I feel like if I say anything more, it's just going to upset more players. Manga being furious is fine. Sometimes you need to get angry to play well. Okay, into the second half, we march. Going to be, well, an early chance here at the start of this half. And actually, it's a corner for them. We have been a bit of a set-piece weaponry of a team. And now we've had our own weapon used against us. Ito scores for them. It's their second shot on target, if I'm not mistaken. And having seen our fair share of corners go in this year, I can't pretend I'm not gutted a little bit that they've got one in there. 2 yards out. That was probably even closer than our goal was from. I mean, at what point do I bring in Honda? Is it time? You know what? I think it is. Honda, I'm going to bring on. Miyake's been quiet, but I need his physicality. I'm going to move Honda to play on the left. Sasaki's going to move to pressing forward, of course. He was our goal scorer. Nakamura on a booking scares me, so Sakaki is going to come in to play that defensive mid position. Looking at Kamiyama on a booking, not playing particularly well. You know what? Hashizume, come on down, my friend. I don't know if I've ever had a team in Football Manager that has like so many strikers and kind of wide attacking players that can play in so many configurations. I think there's like 8 or 9 players that I can play at any one time. One of them is Miyake, and he's just done that. I don't know if Peter Crouch ever scored free kicks like that. I don't think he did. The Japanese Peter Crouch has done it, not with his head this time, but with his boot. Look at that, wraps the foot around it. Hayakawa in goal for them had no chance. Harao with a corner. Where is the big meaty man? There he is. Sadly on this occasion, header not kept down. 13 minutes left of this game. We scored a goal by forcing an error out of them with a press from a goalkeeper kind of distribution situation. We're looking to do the same again. Sasaki picks up nicely. Tachibana, Hashizume with the ball. Could go back, does go back. Manga, go left here. There's a free man. Hirao, he has pace. He has the ability to deliver. He does. And the keeper makes a mad save. Miyake was offside, so it wouldn't have counted, but that was a great stop. 5 minutes left here. I'd be lying if I was to say I'm not a little bit nervous, despite the fact we've been in the ascendancy ever since we scored and been all over them. There's just that fear of conceding. I need just one more goal to ease the nerves, and I'll tell you what, he's done it again. It's his 25th goal of the year. It's Miyake. That one, not quite as pretty as the free kick just a moment ago, but they all count. It was Hashizume's initial effort that hit the woodwork, but Miyake expertly placed just to lash in the half volley. Didn't need to get it into the bottom corner, just had to get it on target. He understood the assignment, he did the assignment, and with that, surely with just 5 minutes left of added time, that is going to be the Emperor's Cup wrapped up. We have done the domestic quadruple if you include the Super Cup, triple if you just exclude the Super Cup. I don't really know. In England, you don't count the Charity or Community Shield as part of like a treble. I mean, some fans will and they're silly, but in Japan, does the Super Cup count? Either way, that's all goes without saying. We've won a bloody lot this year. It's nice to end it with one more trophy for the collection. Nakano, hoist that trophy aloft. A man who joined us, if I'm not mistaken, from a J3 side to join us in J2. He has donned the captain's armband for many a year. He's hoisted many a trophy, and he gets to hoist one more there. I'm very, very happy with that. Nakano, I hope you enjoyed that, mate. What an adventure this man has been on with us over the course of the last few years. In fact, he joined us from a team in the 4th division on a free transfer, and now he's like one of the best goalkeepers in Japan. Look at the clean sheet record the last few years. Absolutely mad. We actually get some decent prize money from this competition as well. £800,000, and we get just £200,000 just for playing in the game. That's like £1 million for doing absolutely nothing. If I just look at our finances, I mean, look at it, 13 million now. Should I just save up money? Is that the next stage of this save game? Why should we spend it? It's not like I have the money to spend. They won't give me more wage budget. Now, looking ahead, next time out, we are going to be doing Champions League football. But if we just look at the Champions League Elite, we've actually already qualified from the group stages. So I feel like the plan of attack for next episode is kind of a weird off-season episode, maybe. I don't even know if it's worth doing a transfer special, because I don't think I'm going to be doing that much in the transfer market given the current budgets. It might be that I forego that simply to get to when the Champions League knockout stages begin. Speaking of which, when do the Champions League knockout stages begin? The answer is the 3rd of March. That sounds like a good time to come back next time. Now, I know some people are going to be disappointed about a lack of a transfer special, but just with the weird winter kind of off-season period clashing with the Champions League, I think it's just the best way to do things, in all honesty. That, and also the fact that when you look at the budgets, the wage budget and such, it's not like we're going to be doing a load of crazy transfers anyway. I feel like it's just going to be building on the platform we already have. We already have a really good high-quality team. Really, a bit like we signed Kadono last year. I'd like to get in one kind of a luxury signing for £1 million and make them our main man for the year. But before you turn off thinking, well, the episode's done now, no, let's get to the end of season shebang. We'll talk about the transfers in and out that happened this year, the club finances, how the sponsorships have kind of changed this year. Of course, it's our 2nd year in J1. There's more eyes on us now. Our reputation has slowly been creeping up. We've been repeatedly breaking our record attendance, and I kind of want to talk about that and more. So I'll go and get to the end of season bit. Don't go anywhere. Interesting to note, the League Cup isn't showing on the trophy screen here. The League Cup in the database does have multiple stages, and I did notice at one point, just vanished from my competition screen after we won it. But we definitely did win the League Cup. No one can take that away from us. I mean, in terms of transfers we made this year, only 3 of them were playing in the first team, and to be fair, only 2 of them started regularly. Kadono, of course, has gone on to play for the Japanese national team. I think we can mark that as a success immediately. As for Miyake, well, I'll be honest, I didn't really sign him with high hopes. I signed him as a punt for the future, or so I thought, but based on the form he's shown this year, I feel like his aerial ability and his physicality is just something I don't really have in my other strikers. It's kind of a nice bonus that he can play out in the wide areas, but with his height and his jumping reach, it just feels like a little bit of a waste. I love the fact as well, he's got 16 flair whilst being as tall as he is. Great work, great teamwork. Could easily play as a target man if he wanted to, but within our system as an advanced forward, he's been really, really effective. I mean, in terms of transfers out, we sold a few players for significant money. 500k for Lucas Ferreira. He has not contributed since he's gone to J2. Espel's probably feel robbed. And Matsuyama, a youngster who, of course, we sold to Grampus, has barely made a mark on the team. So, at the risk of saying anything prematurely, because obviously in the case of Matsuyama, he is a young player, those look like pretty good sales. Of course, last year we won the league on the last day of the year. We've known for a while that we were going to top this table. Truthfully, despite a minor wobble right at the start of the year, we have been in a really, really good vein of form. Defensively, not quite, I don't think, to the same level we were last year, but we've been scoring plenty. Fans are flocking to the games. We've been getting way closer to sellouts on occasion this year, which is really cool to see. You can see Sasaki was actually top goal scorer in the league for us, with 23 goals to his name. Of course, the Asian Champions League is still a work in progress, so it's weird to have it here, but so far so good. Knockouts, of course, coming your way next time. And in terms of the finances, these are looking pretty healthy as well. A little bit of competition prize money on the rise. The others actually haven't risen as much as I thought they might. And looking at things here, our reputation apparently hasn't changed, which is a bit frustrating, but I mean, we're still, I think, well, I was going to say, I still think we're one of the most reputable teams in Japan. Is that actually even true? If I go to club list here, I mean, we are more reputable than a lot of J1 clubs at this point, but actually, we're not a top dog just yet. Here is our best 11 for the season as well. I'm going to be honest, with the amount of rotation we did in certain areas, it's kind of hard to know, is this the best 11? I've spent the last 2 minutes bigging up Kadono, haven't I? The defensive midfielder who's on international duty. Apparently he isn't in the starting 11 for the team of the season, so make of that what you will. Signing of the season, young player of the season, both going to Miyake. Nemo, fans player of the year. When Nemo's not been injured, he has been a really, really vital player for us. Sadly, picked up another injury towards the end of the year. You can see he's going to be out for 3 to 5 weeks with that. That was actually picked up ahead of the final. A little bit annoying. And in terms of record breakers, you can see there's a lot of records actually broken here as well, which is cool to see. Of course, we have played in more competitions than ever before, so stuff like more clean sheets than previous years. Not entirely surprising to get, but nevertheless cool to see. Also, Mitsuhashi, 168 appearances for that man. I bloody love him. And here, by the way, is a look at the overall best 11 for the team that we have amassed over the course of the last, 8 seasons and counting here at Tokyo 23. Taba up there with Otter is cool to see. I suppose the question is going to be, when I return next time, is Taba still at the club? And if I do decide to sell him, do I actually need to buy a replacement in? We've got so many strikers. When we saw our team by star rating, there's 6 strikers. Is 6? Yeah, 6 strikers in the top 8. And I know stars don't mean everything, but that is just quite funny. Club vision for the upcoming year hasn't changed too drastically, so that is A-OK with me. And now an end of season meeting with the players. You know what? Just go and enjoy your holiday. I can't be bothered speaking to them. I did wonder that with the season now wrapped up and with more money in the bank, maybe the budgets would change. They have not altered one little bit, which is a bit annoying because we have a load of money in the bank. Can't really spend any of it. I say that, I mean, I could spend it on something, he says, as he requests facilities for like the 10 billionth time. Also, improve the youth recruitment. I want to end the episode on a high with some more good news. Come on board, give it to me. I mean, 2 out of 3 isn't bad. They don't want to do the youth recruitment, but they are spending £4.3 million on training and youth facilities. So that is cool to see. I will beg them to improve the youth recruitment, even though I kind of assume at this point, as they reject it outright, that we're never going to get anyone good for our intakes, are we? I've made my peace with that a while ago. Now, as I already mentioned, we are through in the Champions League. We currently sit top of the group with 5 wins in 5. And if we just look at the stages under the rules screen, you can see the competition is a fairly standard knockout competition. In the finals, the 2 sides of the bracket meet. So that could be a really, really significant moment if we could get there. Based on the way in which we're demolishing teams in, well, the Eastern League, I'd like to think there's a chance we can do that. So next time out, hopefully we're going to kick off that Champions League run. And here, by the way, is our best 11 going into the start of the new season. This is the team that I think is our best lineup when everyone is fit. I think arguably Kibe is better than Honda, but Honda just always seems to put in performances. I don't know if anyone else can relate to this. Sometimes you just have players who seem to outperform their attributes. Honda's kind of that guy. You will note with this team as well. This is a team that doesn't feature Taba and doesn't even have him on the bench. You have the likes of Honda and Sasaki on the bench. Taba dropped. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's a sign that I've already kind of figured out. I don't really need him. Anyway, I hope you guys understand the reasoning for not doing a transfer special tomorrow. I just think with the lack of money available and not too much to show, rather than do an episode like that for the sake of it, we'll come back start of March, Champions League knockout stages, and take things from there. Of course, kicking off with a little bit of a catch-up as to what have we actually done in the market. And of course, just as a little reminder, we've actually already agreed to sign Takashi Ito. He is like the big boy signing of the window. He's also one of the reasons why I don't really have any money to spend. Spending £2.1 million on this guy, but I think it's going to be worth it. Okay, gang, that really is me done for today. Thank you for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Let me know your player of the year, and I'll see you next time for more. I'm out.